Kashiba, Kashiba. You're free now, you're free now. How does your spirit fly? Blood of your blood, bone of your bone. By the grace of your strength, we have life. That's it. No, that was it. Starved and sold again. Ain't you a woman of love deserving? Ain't it something you survive? Kashiba, Kashiba. You're free now, you're free now. How does your spirit fly? Blood of your blood, bone of your bone. By the grace of your strength, we have life. You dreamt of home, you dreamt of freedom. You died a slave, you died alone. Came from warriors who once built empires. Shiny kingdoms carried on. Kashiba, Kashiba. You're free now, you're free now. How does your spirit fly? Blood of your blood, bone of your bone. By the grace of your strength, we have life. Yeah, that starts right away. So. By the strength of your bone, we have life. 3, 4. You were forgotten, almost forsaken. Your children found a generation. Your strength sustained them. They won the freedom. Trace the roots to find your way. Kashiba, Kashiba. You're free now, you're free now. How far your spirit's gone. Blood of your blood, bone of your bone. By the grace of your strength, we have life. Blood of your blood, bone of your bone. By the grace of your strength, we are whole. By the grace of your strength, we are whole. We are whole. We are whole. We are whole. I messed up the lyric sheet on that last chorus. So, Kimberly, it goes,
Yeah.
how far your spirit's flown, right? Is that?
Yes, that sounds
Yeah.
good. That's helpful.
So the last chorus, yeah, you're free now, how far your spirit's flown. So that it rhymes with home. And then the last line is we are home. So how far your spirit's flown, by the grace of your strength, we are home. And then the outro as written. I think you could on the, I think I just forgot to put the bold, but yeah, why don't you sing through the grace of your strength, we are home? How about both of them? And then Charlotte can just do the last 3 alone. Yes. Sure. Okay, so, yeah, I think we have time. Do you want to get into it? Or just... Let's do the end of the chorus before the band drops out. So blood of your blood before, this is right before the band drops out. So one.
The chorus before verse 4?
Yeah, half of the chorus before verse 4. So 1, 2, 3, blood. Blood of your blood, bone of your bone, by the grace of your strength, we have life.
You don't like that word.
Forgotten. Yeah, so it's like right away.
I was talking.
Okay. By the grace of your strength, we are alive.
You were forgotten, almost forsaken. Your children founded generations. Your strength
Go ahead and go to the end.
They won the freedom. Trace the route to find you waiting. Kashiba, Kashiba. You're free now, you're free now. How far your spirit flows. Blood of your blood, bone of your bone. By the grace of your strength, we are home. Blood of your blood, bone of your bone. By the grace of your strength, we are home. By the grace of your strength, we are home. We are home. We are home. We are home.
Yeah, I think you can keep playing till the end, but just like get really light like that. I think that's great. Thank you, everyone. Let me, Charlotte, I think we should just introduce this song with a sentence or two. There's something online about it. Just, I think it'll make more sense if people know. I'll find it and print it for you. It's like, somebody wrote it about their ancestors. And yeah.
Please do.
Okay. Are we good?
Now and now begin.
Seems great.
All right.
All right. So yeah, the welcome music is just videos. So we'll start with the. You could play on the welcome song if you want. We are many, we are, if you want. And the closing affirmation. I was just saying we should. Yeah. So I'll go find something online to say about it. Unless you want to introduce it, or do you know about it? Okay.
But I can tell you how she explains it. We thought she is Canadian. She traces her ancestry for enslaving, especially back to Grenada. And before that, to Ghana.
Okay.
As far back as they can go, is to like her great-great-great-grandmother, whose name was Kujiba. And they believe people were from Ghana to Grenada.
Okay. Do you?
And she always introduces the song by saying,
2, 3.
Everybody's got a secret. Everybody's got a hope. Everybody's got a journey that they're living for. Everybody has been broken. Everybody's got a bruise. Everybody's got a story they ain't telling you. In their faces, in their bodies, in their bones, in their blood, in their lives, in their hearts, in their souls, in their gut. Ain't nobody been broken like you. Everybody has been broken too. You will know it when you see it. You will feel it when it comes. It's a dream in your sleep that can't be undone. It's the light of the fire. It's the sting of the flame. It's the change in your mind, and you're never the same. In your face, in your body, in your bones, in your blood, in your life, in your heart, in your soul, in your gut. Ain't nobody been broken like you. Everybody has been broken too. Look in the eye of a stranger. Look in the heart of a man. Ain't no one out there been broken like you. Everybody has been broken too. Ain't nobody been broken like you. Everybody has been broken too.
Oh, let us turn our thoughts today to Martin Luther King and recognize that there are ties between us, all men and women living on the earth, ties of hope and love, of sister and brotherhood. That we are bound together in our desire to see the world become a place in which our children can grow free and strong. We are bound together by the task that stands before us and the road that lies ahead. We are bound and we are bound. There is a feeling like the clenching of a fist There is a hunger in the center of the chest. There is a passage through the darkness and the mist. Though the body sleeps, the heart will never rest.
Shed a little light, oh Lord.
Shed a little light, oh Lord.
So that we can see.
Oh,
Just a little light, oh Lord.
just a little light, oh my Lord.
Standing on up,
Standing on up,
standing on up,
oh,
stand on up, Lord. Walking on down, shed a little light, oh Lord. Can't get no light from a dollar bill.
give me no light from a dollar
Don't
bill.
give me no light from a TV screen.
Oh no, no.
When I open my eyes, I want to take my fill from the well on the
The
hill.
well on the hill, I know you know what I mean.
Shed a little light,
Shed a little light, oh Lord.
so we can see.
Oh, we can
Just
see.
a little light, oh Lord. Standing on up,
Standing on up,
standing on up, standing on up, Lord. Walking on down,
walking on.
shed a little light, oh Lord. Shed a little light, oh Lord.
Oh, there is a feeling like the clenching of a fist. There is a hunger in the center of the chest. There is a passage through the darkness and the mist. Though the body sleeps, the heart will never rest. Oh, let us turn our thoughts today to Martin Luther King and recognize that there are times between us, all men and women living on the earth, ties of hope and love, of sister and brotherhood.
You ready? Yep. Good morning. That helps. My name is Kathy Aguirre, and I serve as the chair of your Leadership Development Committee here at First Unitarian. First Unitarian Society of Denver is an urban sanctuary for growing souls in love and service. And for nearly 150 years, we have been and continue to be a cornerstone of liberal religion and justice work in Denver.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jason Kenworthy, and I also serve on the Leadership Development Committee here. Whoever you are and whoever you love, whether you carry joy or sorrow in your heart, you are welcome here. We're excited to share this time with you, and we're so glad that you have joined us either online or here in the sanctuary this morning. And not only are you welcome here, we look forward to getting to know you better, and we hope you find companions for your journey. You're welcome to join us in the community room or via Zoom for social hour after the service.
On the first and third Sundays of the month, this being one of them, the offering at First Unitarian is donated to an organization outside of our community, to the larger Denver community, which has been chosen for us by our Faith in Action Council. All cash and checks will be donated in full to the park people today, which we'll be hearing more about as we go through the service. And I'd like Jason to tell you a little more about the Leadership Development Committee.
Sure, thanks, Kathy. So along with Kathy and me, the other members of our committee are, and please stand or wave if you're here in the sanctuary, or say hi in the chat if you're online. We have Amanda Parker-Strauss, Beth Fisher, Kate Robbie, and Patrick Wharton. Thanks, guys. Yay.
We have a really good team.
So the Leadership Development Committee's mission is to recruit, and you can see it up here on the screen, is to recruit, support, and nurture new and potential congregational leaders. We're an elected group of 6, and we serve 3-year terms with 2 people cycling on and off every year. We meet monthly as a group, and then throughout the winter and the spring, so right now, we work with other committees, groups, staff, and individuals to find and recruit people to fill committee vacancies. Our job is to focus on the 8 elected committees here, but we also support other groups as needed. So I'm new to the committee this year, and as a people person, I'm really looking forward to working with these different groups and understand their needs and how and who might be best to fill them. I've been a part of this church, though, since 2009, and I'm always excited about new groups, projects, people, and ideas, while also honoring, learning from, and building on the knowledge and legacy carried by those that have been a part of this community for many decades.
So if you are old or new, if you would like more information about First Unitarian, or you'd like to be more involved with this community, we invite you to visit our brand new, this week, Opportunities wall and table in the community room. We want to keep the energy, and look for the Opportunities, the First Unitarian banner on the wall. I think you can't miss it. We want to keep the energy and interest in the activities that are going on here in our community continuing throughout the year. So the wall will serve as an ongoing committee fair. We think you'll be surprised at all that is going on here.
So each week for the next few months, a different committee will welcome folks and be available after the service at the Opportunities table to share more about their group. The wall has panels like this one that represent nearly 30 different opportunities with more than well over 150 individual positions available. And we hope that you find something that speaks to you.
Jason, as people are learning more about First Unitarian, and as we reweave our community after the worst of the pandemic, do you have any ideas for how people can put a face to a name that they hear?
I sure do, Kathy. It's our online directory, and it's called Breeze.
Aha, okay. Yes, if you are a member or a regularly attending friend with a listing in our directory online, we want and need your picture to go with your name. It's very easy to take a selfie and upload it to your Breeze account through the website. We are missing many of your smiling faces and scowling faces. Please upload your picture today, or you can, if you're trying to upload it and you have any trouble, you can email it to Rhonda in the office and she'll help you get it placed. Or you can also stop by the Opportunities table during coffee hour and we will snap it for you.
All right. Thank you, Kathy, and thanks, everybody. I hope to see many of you at the table after the service. I do have one more announcement. This is from Leah Davis. The first welcome video that you saw this morning featured singer and songwriter Megan Burt. She'll be performing with her band right here in this sanctuary this coming Saturday, the 21st at 7 p.m. You can purchase tickets also in the community room. Perhaps you've gathered that that is a hub for activity in our congregation after the service. Tickets are also available online. Go to capitolhillconcerts.com, and there you can also learn more about Megan and the Grow House, which is the nonprofit she chose to receive a portion of the proceeds. I hope to see you Saturday for this phenomenal concert. Additional items of interest can be found on your order of service and in our weekly First Announce email blast. Now please join me in making sure your electronic devices are silenced so that we may be more fully present in this physical and virtual space. It is so good to be with you here today. Let us now worship together.
I don't do this a lot, so, you know. Good morning. How are you? So I need to use my notes. So good morning. On this Sunday, when we historically recognize and honor Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., which Mike will be doing in a little while, our call to worship today will be the conclusion of Maya Angelou's poem, The Pulse of the Morning. Lift up your eyes upon this day breaking for you. Give birth again to the dream. Women, children, men, take it in the palms of your hands. Mold it into the shape of your most private need. Sculpt it into the image of your public self. Lift up your hearts. Each new hour holds new chances for a new beginning. Do not be wedded forever to fear, yoked eternally to brutishness. The horizon leans forward, offering you space to place new steps of change. Here on the pulse of this fine day, you may have the courage to look up and out and upon me, the rock, the river, the tree, your country. No less to Midas than the mendicant, no less to you now than the mastodon then. Here on the pulse of this new day, you may have the grace to look up and out and into your sister's eyes and into your brother's face, your country, and say simply, very simply, with hope, good morning. All right, and welcome.
I'm just going to add that we have a free Megan Burt CD for the first 5 folks who purchase a couple tickets in the community room after the service. Whoever you are. Yes, whoever. Whatever you want to say before the welcome song.
Please take a few seconds to greet the people sitting around you.
Whatever you want to do. You don't have to ask me.
Good morning, folks. As you're wrapping up your greetings, we're going to sing our welcome song, so you can join me. The lyrics will be on the screens. We are many, we are one. The light of the world is within you. Sacred and worthy is your soul. A place has been made for you. So the song we're going to sing now is a song by Alison Russell. She is an African Canadian who can trace her roots from Ghana to Grenada. And she traced her family line to a woman named Kashiba. And she wrote this song about her. She starts all of her songs or her concerts with this saying that we are all the descendants of survivors. Sheba, Sheba, you're free now, you're free now. How does your spirit fly? Bone of your bone, flesh of your flesh, by the grace of your strength, we have life. From the golden coast of Grenada to the bondage of Grenada, you kept your dream of hope alive. They burned your body, they cursed your blackness, but they could not take your life. Sheba, Sheba, you're free now, you're free now.
have life.
Starved and sold again. Raped and beaten, your baby's taken. Ain't you a woman of love deserving? Ain't it something you survive? Kashiba, Kashiba, you're free now, you're free now. How does your spirit fly? Blood of your blood, bone of your bone, by the grace of your strength, we have life. You dreamt of home, you dreamt of freedom. You died a slave, you died alone. You came from warriors who once built empires. Ashanti kingdom carried on. Kashiba, Kashiba, you're free now, you're free now. How does your spirit fly? Blood of your blood, bone of your bone, by the grace of your strength, we have life. You were forgotten, almost forsaken. Your children founded generations. Your strength sustained them. They won their freedom and traced the roots to find you waiting. Kashiba, Kashiba, you're free now, you're free now. How far your spirits flow. Blood of your blood, bone of your bone, by the grace of your strength, we are home. Blood of your blood, bone of your bone, by the grace of your strength, we are home. By the grace of your strength, we are home. We are home. We are home. We are home.
Good morning. So I'm Erin Kenworthy, your Director of Religious Exploration, and this is our Time for All Ages. So if you're young or young at heart, come on up here. Owen and I are going to have a short conversation. It'll make sense in a moment. Owen, what are the specials at your school?
Art, music, and PE.
And what is PE?
Physical education.
And what do you do in physical education?
Color tag and like push-ups and stuff.
All right, so some games, some exercise. Okay. So our Time for All Ages this morning just disappeared. Come back. There it is. So when I was in elementary school, I had the best PE teacher ever. His name was Mr. Rod, short for Mr. Rodriguez. And we played all sorts of games inside and outside. Do you have PE or do you play inside and outside at school ever? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. So one of my favorite games that we would play was he would put up a volleyball net and divide my class in half on one side of the net, half on the other, and then he would dump out about 50 foam balls. and tell us that our objective was to get all of the balls off of our side of the net and onto the other side. Yeah. And in elementary school, we thought that was possible. So we would frantically scramble around, chasing the balls as fast as we could and trying to throw them on the other side while the other side was doing the exact same thing to us. And I think Mr. Rod was genius. Because we got exercise and we worked hard and nobody won. Most of the games that we played in PE were competitive, with like team against team or sides or a smaller group against a larger group, and we were all pretty used to getting put onto teams. So we knew in our class who was athletic and who wasn't, and we'd try to stack our teams unevenly so that we could ensure our side's success. Is anybody familiar with that ever happening? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But Mr. Rod was unfailingly fair, always twisting rules or resetting boundaries to challenge whatever strategy we thought we had figured out. Like I said, he was a great teacher. But one of the classes I most remember with him involved the swing set at our school. How many of you have ever gone on the swing set at a playground? Yeah? So you know, right, when nobody's on the swing set, the swing hangs straight down from a bar, right? And then there's legs that are angled outwards, right? Pretty far to make sure that the swing set doesn't fall over when people are using it. So he took our class to the swing set, and he told us that we had to get everyone from our class from this side of the swing set to the other side of the swing set without touching any of the area under the swing set or between the legs of the swing set. Yeah. What? Right? We were all so used to being divided into teams that this new challenge of all of us having to work together blew all of our little minds. And we're looking at this swing set, completely unreachable to get to the swing without walking on the sand under it and going, what are we going to do? Right? We were all on the same team, so we looked around at each and every classmate, thinking about their strengths and their weaknesses. And rather than focusing on how we would try to defeat one another, we had to figure out a way to help one another, to root for one another, because my success in this task depended on everybody else's success. He didn't give us any clues or tools. We had to organize ourselves, problem solve, listen to different ideas, try a few of them, and then work together. It was a completely different game when we all had to work together. We had to depend on each other, and we failed. A bunch. We failed a lot. But eventually, we figured out a method that worked and got everybody across. I'm not going to tell you what it is. That would ruin the game for you, wouldn't it? And that victory felt bigger and better than any other game I remember playing in elementary school, because I remember the cheers when the last person finally landed safely across the lava zone. The relief that we all felt together of having beaten Mr. Rod's challenge and of doing something difficult that included everybody's different strengths. I still carry that reminder most days, that even when we're not on the playground, that we are all on the same team trying to get across that swing set. And that we can be our own biggest enemy when we scramble frantically for our own self-interest without seeing the larger picture. We are all on Team Humanity. When we help others, we might just be helping ourselves also. So tomorrow is a national holiday celebrating the life and work of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He worked tirelessly until the day he died to unite people to work together against challenges like racism and poverty and war, and we still have a lot to do. We are still inspired by his message and his vision and his leadership. And in Denver, tomorrow, there's a parade to honor his legacy. Some of us will be there to walk from his statue in City Park all the way down Colfax to Civic Center Park. If you need a snack or a bathroom break or an off-ramp or a friendly smile, Myself and some other folks will be here at First Unitarian with the doors open, some hot cocoa and some snacks, just a block off the parade route at 14th Avenue for folks who want to connect or rest. We can help one another because we are all on the same team, and I'm rooting for all of you. Please join me in singing our children and youth out to their classes.
Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing our first hymn, Guide My Feet. We will do 3 verses together.
Hello, First Unitarians. Hi, my name is Ray Burdett, and I'm a relatively new member here. Been here about 2 years in Denver, and since moving to Denver, I have been volunteering with a wonderful Denver nonprofit organization called the Park People. And the Park People have several functions, but one of which is providing trees, low-cost trees or free trees to areas of Denver that are low-resourced and have low tree canopy. In fact, just yesterday, members of our Climate Justice Circle and other members of our congregation participated in the Park People's Denver Digs Trees project. And would those who participated like to stand up here? So I think some of you are here. Oh, very good, thank you. We walked through the Skyline neighborhood of Denver, which is just north of Central Park area and the golf course there. And we provided residents with applications for trees, and I think we sort of canvassed the whole the neighborhood pretty well. And throughout this month, other groups are doing the same thing in other low-resource, low-canopied areas under the auspices of the Park People. And this is all in preparation for a citywide tree planting, which is going to take place on Earth Day, which is April 22nd. And we'll be looking for church members who want to participate in this, so we'll have some way of getting volunteers for that. So our collection today will be given as a donation to the Park People. And you can donate here in person, or you can donate online at our website, fusden.org. Go to the giving page and then choose Giving in Action. And I would like to introduce to you Lori Evans from the Park People. She is their Community Engagement Coordinator, and she will give you some more information about their organization and its good works. Come on up, Lori.
Hi, is this okay if I come out, podiums intimidate me a little bit, so just let me know if you're not able to hear me. But yes, my name is Lori Evans. Thank you, Ray, for the introduction. Thank you for inviting me here today. Thank you, canvassers, because canvassing neighborhoods is not a favorite activity of a lot of volunteers, and y'all are awesome to get out there and share the word about free and low-cost trees in low canopy communities. And thank you so much for the opportunity to apply for this wonderful Giving in Action program. I mean, y'all put your words, you put your money, you put your effort and your volunteer time where you clearly have priorities in terms of increasing equity in our communities, which is something certainly that we're working on with regard to urban forestry and the benefits of canopy in Denver. I am new to Denver myself. I moved here at the end of last summer, and as I was moving to Denver, I was looking for an opportunity which I came from voting rights work as well as health, working with folks for healthcare access, and I was looking to get back into climate work, but I was also, as I was doing that, really wanted to continue my work in just making the world a little more fair, right? Everyone should have access to the kinds of benefits and just good, healthy living that most of us or some of us do have. So that's what I found at the Park People, where the work that we're doing is increasing the climate resilience of our communities in Denver as our climate is heating up, and our communities, particularly those with a lot of pavement, have extreme vulnerability to heat impacts, communities that have highways all around them, and the pollution that these communities have to their children as they're walking to schools and playing in the parks that are very vulnerable to as well. Trees help filter that. Trees, when you're in a neighborhood with a lot of trees, the temperature difference in summers can be 10 to 12 degrees. That's like life and death differences when you're talking about 100 degrees versus 89 degrees. So that's why we are really, thank you, Ray, for organizing canvasses. We have 5 more going on this month to get applications into neighborhoods that have been, historically redlined, so they don't have all of the benefits of tree canopy growing up in their neighborhood. My work also, in addition to planting trees, is this year my main work is going to be going into communities in West Denver like Val Verde and Barnum and Skyland and Villa Park to work with community leaders there to plan community projects where they want to bring community greening into their neighborhoods. So these are projects where we're working with leaders to cultivate leaders and train them in how to care for trees. So that's one of the projects that we're working on. We have this great new project called Tree Forest, where we have a training pre-apprentice program where we actually pay young people with barriers to employment and train them in how to care for trees, and then they can take those skills back into their low canopy neighborhoods and actually care for the long-term stewardship of their communities' urban forest. So we're kind of working at this from a number of different angles, and just really I'm grateful for your support. I mean, walked into this church community, it's like, wow, these are people with heart, and they welcome you in here. And so anyway, I'm just impressed by your community here, and just really grateful for the opportunity to speak with you. I've probably way more taken up my time. I have a little bit of literature. I grabbed the wrong bag. I had some general park people information, but I put it out on the table. But I grabbed the Denver Digs bag, which is, so if you're interested in a tree or want a free tree or low-cost tree, grab that information. There's a sign-up form. And can I take a selfie real quick with all of y'all behind? Because I kind of have to be able to post a big thank you on social media, right? If you don't take a picture, it didn't happen. So I'm going to put this. Oh, awesome. Okay, let me get my park people shirt here. And y'all all wave. Give us a wave. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much.
One man come in the name of love. One man come and go. One man come he to justify. One man to overthrow. In the name of love. What more in the name of love? In the name of love. What more in the name of love?
One man caught on a barbed wire fence. One man he resists. One man washed on an empty beach. One man betrayed with a kiss. In the name of love. One more in the name of love. In the name of love. One more in the name of love.
Nobody like you.
Nobody like you. Nobody like you.
Early morning, April 4th. Shots ring out in the Memphis sky. Free at last, they took your life. They could not take your pride. In the name of love. One more in the name of love. In the name of love. One more in the name of love. In the name of love. One more in the name of love. In the name of love. One more in the name of love.
Your gifts freely given this morning are gratefully received. Thank you for your support, your generosity, your support of the park people. May their mission cover our city with greenery. Most of you know, I think, if you were here last week, we were getting ready to house some refugees for the course of the week. We were asked by the city to do that. Several of us set up some cots and got all the bedding out, and that afternoon I got a text from the city saying, thank you, but the people we were expecting to show up by bus didn't show up, and so you're off the hook. And we had 30 volunteers signed up, and we had to cancel everybody. But I do want to just take a moment and recognize Beth Fisher, who came in all by herself on Wednesday to take down all the cots and put away all the bedding we had set up. And Beth doesn't know this yet. In fact, nobody knows this yet except me, but this morning I got another text from the city saying, could you house some refugees this week? And I said I would assess our volunteer pool and get back to her. So I'm going to be doing that today. Thank you. Assessing our volunteer pool, that is. See if we are ready to take this on again, despite the plug that was pulled on us last week. I want to hold up a few joys and concerns of our larger community, and first I want to hold up that Terry Kalesa, who is here with us this morning in a bright purple scarf, told me this morning she will celebrate her 85th birthday this week. And I really need to hold up that Charlotte Broad-Kern, who has been singing for us this morning and sings for us beautifully all the time. Charlotte has received the Living Our Denver Public Schools Award. And her nomination reads in part, Charlotte is a quintessential music and art teacher. She is talented, resourceful, patient, and 100% dedicated to her students. However, what sets her apart from other music and art teachers I've known throughout the years is her ability to teach both music and art. In addition to her unique after-school art program, Charlotte works tirelessly, spending countless hours to provide Beach Court students with extraordinary opportunities in the arts, providing many of them with experiences they might not otherwise have access to. Yay, Charlotte. I want to hold up and give a shout out this morning to all the folks out there who are looking for work in this very strange economy that we are going through right now. I know that's at least several folks in our congregation. I wish you strength and success in that search. I want to hold up the people who are being affected by flooding in California, and really I want to hold up people all over the world who are being affected and sometimes dealing with little catastrophes from climate change, their whole way of lives disrupted. And as I often do, I really want to hold up this morning all the refugees out there in this world, people from Central and South America, from North Africa, from Southeast Asia. Estimates are that there are 65 million people in this world displaced from war and environmental catastrophe and poverty. May this world be merciful. Our prayer today is not mine. It was spoken by the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King on one of his many occasions where he would pray in public. Keep in mind, he is not speaking here to Unitarian Universalists, but he is speaking in the black church traditions, and specifically, he is speaking directly to God in the presence of mostly black Christians. And on one of those occasions, he spoke this. "O God, we thank you for the fact that you have inspired men and women in all nations and in all cultures. We call you different names. Some call you Allah. Some call you Elohim. Some call you Jehovah. Some call you Brahma. Some call you the unmoved mover. But we know that these are all names for one and the same God. Thou eternal God, we humbly confess we have not loved thee with our hearts, souls, and minds. And we have not loved our neighbors as Christ loved us. We have all too often lived by our own selfish impulses rather than by the life of sacrificial love as revealed by Christ. We often give in order to receive. We love our friends and hate our enemies. We go the first mile but dare not travel the second. We forgive but dare not forget. And so, as we look within ourselves, we are confronted with the appalling fact that the history of our lives is the history of an eternal revolt against you. O God, grant that we will follow you and become so committed to your way and your kingdom that we will be able to establish in our lives and in this world a brother and sisterhood, that we will be able to establish here a kingdom of understanding where men and women will live together as brothers and sisters and respect and dignity the worth of every human being. But thou, give us the courage to do your will. Give us the devotion to love your will. In the name and spirit of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
I went up to the mountain because you asked me to, up over the clouds to where the sky was blue. I could see all around me, everywhere. I could see all around me, everywhere. Sometimes I feel like I never been nothing but tired, and I'll be working till the day I expire. Sometimes I lay down, no more can I do, but then I go on again because you asked me to. Some days I look down, afraid I will fall, and though the sun shines, I see nothing at all. Then I hear your sweet voice, oh, oh, come and then go, come and then go, telling me softly, you love me so. The peaceful valley just over the mountain, the peaceful valley. If you come to know where I will go.
All right. I am aware that we're running a little bit long today, and we've been sitting for a long time. And my sermon is not particularly long, but I'm going to do all of it. And because we've been sitting for a long time, before I start, I'm just going to invite you, if you want to, just stand up and stretch your bodies. I'm going to stretch mine. And actually, while you're standing up, could we just show a little more love to our musicians? That's awesome. These are almost all volunteers, and they bless this space every week. So tomorrow is Martin Luther King Day, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And today in churches all across the country, preachers and teachers are dusting off their favorite quotes and remembering this iconic American, including myself. Because it's appropriate and because he was a truth teller. I've been reading especially and considering a talk he gave in August of 1967 at the Chicago Coliseum, which I realized is the exact same place where I, as a 16-year-old, oblivious to that history, would go attend rock concerts a decade later. But on that occasion in 67, Dr. King gave what later came to be known as the 3 Evils of Society speech. Dr. King at that time was in a period of transition within himself and in his thinking. For several years, he had been expanding his focus from racism to larger issues. He had been making connections between racism and economics, especially capitalism and poverty, between racism and foreign policy, between racism and the war in Vietnam. The 3 evils he called out in 1967 were racism, materialism, and war. And this particular speech is known by historians as one of his more revolutionary speeches. I'm going to share a few short passages. And so the collision course is set. The people cry for freedom, and the Congress attempts to legislate repression. Millions, yes, billions are appropriated for mass murder, but the most meager pittance for foreign aid for international development is crushed in the surge of reaction. Unemployment rates at a major depression level in the black ghettos, but bipartisan response is an anti-riot bill rather than a serious poverty program. The modest proposals for modest cities, rent supplement, and rat control, pitiful as they were to begin with, get caught in the maze of congressional inaction. And I submit to you that a Congress that proves to be more anti-Negro than anti-rat needs to be dismissed. Here's another passage. Yes, the hour is dark. Evil comes forth in the guise of good. It is a time of double talk when men in high places have a high blood pressure of deceptive rhetoric and an anemia of concrete performance. They cry out against welfare handouts to the poor, but generously approve an oil depletion allowance to make the rich richer. What they truly advocate is socialism for the rich and capitalism for the poor. And finally, I do like this quote, our moral lag must be redeemed. When scientific power outruns moral power, we end up with guided missiles and misguided men.
I've also been reading a book about relational therapy called Us. And I've actually been struck by the parallels between unhealthy relationships in the Us book and the unhealthy social and political culture that Martin Luther King articulates with such clear-eyed, eloquent honesty. Not to oversimplify these two complex realities, but I think the analogy is useful. There is an underlying theme in almost every unhealthy relationship, and also in a culture that perpetuates racism, materialism, and war. Individualism is the moral stance, political philosophy, ideology, and social outlook that emphasizes the intrinsic worth of the individual. Individualism is often defined in contrast to totalitarianism, collectivism, and more corporate social forms, and starts with the fundamental premise that the human individual is of primary importance. Anarchism, existentialism, liberalism, and libertarianism are examples of movements that take the human individual as the central unit of analysis. That little definition is from Wikipedia. As Americans are somewhat aware, and as the rest of the world is acutely aware, individualism is baked deeply, inherently, maybe inescapably, into American culture. And I'd like to break that down a little bit. Because while there's a lot of analysis and subcategories out there, there are two main streams of individualism that most of us believe in one way or another. And I urge you to keep in mind, as I go on here, something George Bernard Shaw once said, that our prejudices are generally so deep that we perceive them as common sense. Our prejudices are so deep that we generally perceive them as common sense. So first, right, the rugged individualist. That's one stream of individualism in our country. You see this all the time. This is the don't tread on me, live free or die, manifest destiny form, now somewhat culturally aligned with the political right. The principal concerns of the rugged individualist are their rights and their freedoms. Drenched in Enlightenment values, they hate being told what to do, how to live, or how to behave. Fairness is what they say matters to them, and it usually comes with what is sometimes called, and I love this phrase actually, the privilege of oblivion. The privilege of oblivion. Which is to say that it's easy from a privileged place to believe that the playing field is level and fair. In principle, rugged individualists believe the playing field should be level and fair. They just don't register, generally, the existence or reality of those for whom the playing field is not level or fair. For example, it doesn't typically register to the privileged oblivious that the food on their plate is only there because hundreds of people worked for minimum or starvation wages to grow it, pick it, process it, pack it, ship it, and prepare it. Just one example. Just like it's easy to walk or jog in a good neighborhood without fear of being accosted, arrested, or shot, and have no awareness whatsoever that doing so is a white privilege, not afforded to many people in our country. Raise yourself up by your bootstraps. The cream rises to the top. If you're successful, you've earned it. If not, it's because you have some internal flaw or lack of drive or intelligence or initiative or some other capacity. They believe in the self-made man, right? As if sexism, racism, and classism are just sort of minor issues not worthy of serious consideration. Now, the other strain of individualism is the romantic individualist. The romantic individualist wants to develop their potential, find their voice, be true to themselves. They value authenticity and creativity and personal and spiritual growth. They usually feel entitled to share themselves, and they feel hurt or angry if they feel they're being shut down or stifled. The romantic individualist does have a bleeding heart. They feel the pain of the disenfranchised. They have plenty of empathy, but they also practice a kind of privileged oblivion. They have a habit of confusing empathy with action, which are not the same. And it's been easy and somewhat duplicitous, as Dr. King frequently noted, for the white liberal in this world to do nothing, insisting or assuming that justice for some can be had on the schedule of another. Having vague confidence in the onward march of justice and civil rights, reassured by the historical prominence of people like Frederick Douglass, Sojourner Truth, W.E.B. Du Bois, and many others, or in modern times, people like Martin Luther King Jr., or John Lewis, or Oprah Winfrey, or millionaire artists and athletes, or Barack Obama, and many others. Surely these people are evidence that things are getting better. Change is being made. And isn't it good other people are doing that hard work of equality, eventual equality? The romantic individualist tends to idealize nature and sentimentalize the nobility of indigenous people. They tend to vote for Democrats, and they tend to read self-help books. There are whole industries that cater to romantic individualists, from yoga studios to therapy, New Age spirituality, retreats out there for reconnecting with your inner child, your inner warrior, your inner shaman, your inner healer, leader, artist, interpreter, lover, whatever. And I would submit there's nothing inherently wrong with any of that. If you can afford it and you enjoy it, there's no harm being done. Heaven knows there ought to be a place for self-indulgence in this difficult world. Amen? I would also submit, right, that if all that stuff really worked, it probably would have worked by now. There would be a pretty large population of very enlightened people out there. I'm not sure I see evidence for that conclusion. In earlier centuries, no matter what kind of individualist you were, rugged or romantic, the ability to even conceive of yourself as an individual to begin with meant that you were white and male and had some means. Women, children, enslaved people, poor people, people of color didn't really count as individuals, and that was true politically, culturally, and in most cases even legally. The social underpinning of both forms of this individualism, hardly ever acknowledged out loud, is caste and privilege, rooted in competition, false understandings of Darwinian survival, patching up our egos by digging holes in our souls. And things have gotten better. Right? These days, almost all of us have fallen for one or the other myth of individualism. It's pretty egalitarian myth. The problem is that neither of these strains of individualism is grounded in community concern, or engagement with community, or being in real proximity and relationship with the marginalized or the dispossessed. or even aware that community without justice is just another myth. Amen? Personal freedom is not collective freedom, and personal growth is not collective growth. As Dr. King said many times, none of us are free until all of us are free. And I'm not aware he said this, but I think the corollary is also true. None of us can realize our potential or be realized until all of us have the opportunity to do that as well. Part of moving beyond individualism is the realization that denial hurts both the deniers and those denied. The cost of disconnection is disconnection. The legacy of individualism is loneliness. Personal, social, spiritual isolation. And I'm going to go out on a little limb here, but this is my observation. I don't know a soul in this world, nobody in this room, actually, who does not frequently, if not chronically, feel isolated and alone. D.H. Lawrence wrote, "I am not a mechanism, an assembly of various sections. And it is not because the mechanism is working wrongly that I am ill. I am ill because of wounds to the soul, to the deep emotional self. And the wounds of the soul take a long, long time. Only time can help, and patience, and a certain difficult repentance." Long, difficult repentance, realization of life's mistake, and the freeing of oneself from the endless repetition of the mistake which mankind at large has chosen to sanctify. It would be a whole other sermon, but I'll just touch on it. Traditional religion has a role in this. Christianity, having traded an early emphasis on community and charity for a theology of individual salvation, plays straight into the core myths I've been speaking of. And I want to acknowledge, too, just how hard it is to change and challenge assumptions that are so central, so socially, linguistically, and culturally enforced. It's pretty easy to get up here and analyze the ties between beliefs and behaviors and the results of those behaviors. It is not easy. And time will tell if it's even possible for us to see clearly and understand deeply and transform the only belief system we have ever known. The political party that has found a way past the myth of individualism does not yet exist. And I would say, heck, the church that has found a way past the myth of individualism does not yet exist. But darn it, I think we're trying. There are signs of hope and growing consciousness. There were white people on the Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama in 1965. There were thousands of men at recent women's marches. Tens of thousands of white people went out in a pandemic to proclaim Black Lives Matter. Ben Franklin famously said, "We must all hang together, or most assuredly we will all hang separately." And even though Franklin was referring to himself and his landed white male gentry friends, the principle is demonstrably true in a time now of global warming and climate change. We will all hang together, or we will all hang separately. Amen. I'm going to close this reflection with two quotes, two thoughts I want to leave us with on this eve of Martin Luther King Day. The first is from Carl Jung. Deep down, below the surface of the average man's conscience, he hears a voice whispering, "There is something not right." No matter how much his rightness is supported by public opinion or moral code. And the second quote is from Adyashanti, who said, "Enlightenment is a destructive process. It has nothing to do with becoming better or happier. Enlightenment is a crumbling away of untruth. It is seeing through the facade of pretense. It is a complete eradication of everything we imagined to be true." May our search for truth be guided by clarity and by courage. Amen, friends.
Please stand as you're willing and able and join us in singing our hymn, Lead with Love by Melanie DeMore. This is a song, I'll sing the chorus, and when you catch on, join me, and it is a call and response with the verses. We'll help you out with it. Got it. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up.
Try it again.
Don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. You're not alone. You're not alone. Don't you give up. Don't you give up. Keep moving on. Keep moving on. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Lift up your eyes. Lift up your eyes. Don't you despair. Don't you despair. Look up ahead. Look up ahead. The path is there. The path is there. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. I know you're scared. I know you're scared. And I'm scared too. And I'm scared too. But here I am. But here I am. Right next to you. Right next to you. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love.
Lead with love.
And lead with love. And lead with
Please remain standing and join us in singing our closing affirmation. At the end of that, please remain standing for our benediction.
Behind all our differences and beneath our diversity, there is a unity that makes us one and binds us forever together throughout all time, through life and death, and the space between the stars, throughout all time, through life and death, and the space between the stars.
Our friends, in a round world, what goes around comes around. Circles and cycles of stars, seasons of growth and decay, birth and death, and unexpected resurrection. You and I and we are inextricably connected to all that is and was and ever will be. Our service is ended. Go in peace.